Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to UCTV Overtime. I'm Ryan Culloway.
And I'm Ethan Tremblay. Each week we'll give you the latest in UC home sporting events and let you know what games are coming up.
On Tuesday, the men's lacrosse team faced the Potsdam Bears at Gaetano Stadium, coming off of their first loss of the season. One of UC's key players, Dale Wagner, was still unable to play due to injury, so the rest of the Pioneers had to step up in this game. In the first quarter, Utica was able to hit the back of the net 5 times compared to Potsdam's 2. The Pioneers were able to score 3 more goals in the second and hold the Bears off from scoring entirely. Coming back from halftime, Potsdam found something going for them and was able to put in 5 goals in the third, leaving the Pioneers scoreless. Going into the fourth, Utica was able to hold Potsdam off and put 3 more past their goal. The final score of the game was 11-8, leading Utica to a 5-1 record. The team's season has been temporarily put on pause, but hopefully they are able to keep the ball rolling when they do come back.
On Saturday, the women's lacrosse team faced off against Nazareth College. Utica's leading scorers for the day were Sam DeCondo and Addison Green, with both of them having 2 goals apiece. DeCondo also notched her 25th goal of the season this past Saturday. Early in the first half, UC was able to tie the game at 4, after the Golden Flyers had an early lead. Nazareth then went on to score 6 unanswered goals that continued into the second half of the game. Seniors Lauren Wolf and Stephanie Husney both scored within 30 seconds of each other in the second half, but it just wasn't enough to get the ball rolling for them. Nazareth hit the back of the net 5 more times, making the final score 15-9.
Wednesday's softball doubleheader against Keuka College resulted in a split. The Pioneers came out of Game 1 with a win, but fell in Game 2. Jordan Conti started the day in the circle for the Pioneers in their complete game victory. She struck out 2 of Keuka's batters and allowed 2 runs on just 5 hits. Keuka had a 2-0 lead until UC made its comeback in the 4th inning. The leading hitters of Game 1 were Julia Phelps, Sarah Stronsky, Brooke Catlin, and Madison Akatz. Phelps hit a single, stole second, and moved to third on Stronsky's sacrifice fly. Megan O'Keefe walked, and Catlin sent Phelps home on a single, making the score 2-1, with Keuka still in the lead. Akatz reached on an error at first, which sent O'Keefe home to tie the game. Catlin scored the winning run off Abigail Finch's single to right. Keuka remained scoreless, which made the final score of Game 1 being a victory for Utica 3-2.
Keuka made a comeback in Game 2, securing a win against UC to wrap up Wednesday's doubleheader. McKinney Reinhold was on the mound for UC, where she allowed 5 runs on 10 hits and struck out 1. The Wolves scored the first 5 runs of the game, but remained scoreless for the rest of the game. It wasn't until the 4th inning when the Pioneers started their scoring run. The leading hitters of the game were Emily Joss, Bailey McConwin, and Megan O'Keefe, and Brooke Catlin. Catlin was sent home on Erica Sanford's sacrifice fly. McConway had an RBI that sent Akatz home and made the score 5-2. Catlin drove Joss home in the 5th, giving the Pioneers the last run of the game. The final score of Game 2 was 5-3 Keuka.
The softball team brought out the brooms on Saturday and swept the Nazareth Golden Flyers. In Game 1, Jordan Conti led UC on the mound, allowing only 3 runs. Sarah Stronsky had 2 RBIs and Emily Joss had 3 of her own. O'Keefe, McElwain, and Adrienne Duval each scored 2 runs. In the second, Akatz scored on Duval's single, giving UC a 3-1 lead. In the third, Akatz brought O'Keefe home on a single. Phelps drove the ball to left field, which sent Duval home in the 4th. McElwain and Stronsky each had an RBI double to make it a 5-run inning. UC came out with their first win of the day, with a final score of 10-7.
The second game was a nail-biter. In the bottom of the first, Phelps brought McCallaway home on a sacrifice fly to claim an early lead. Naz was able to reel in at UC at the top of the third, taking a 3-1 lead. Luckily, O'Keefe came in clutch with a 2 RBI single to tie the game at 4. Nazareth got their lead back in the top of the 4th, unfortunately, but that did not slow UC down. Finch scored on McCallaway's triple in the bottom of the fourth, and Josh scored the winning run in the fifth. Jordan Cott pitched 2 scoreless innings at the end of the game, securing UC's win. With both of these conference wins, UC moves with a 9-5 record and a 4-4 record in Empire 8 Conference. And they're definitely on a hot streak right now they've collected 5 wins in the past 4 games.
Saturday, the baseball team was against Keuka College in a doubleheader match. With spectators allowed back to view games, more students were seen out enjoying the warm weather during the afternoon.
The first game was very promising for the Pioneers, resulting in a positive 11-3 score. Sean Vegas led UC the first run after an attempt got out of the third base failed. During the second inning, Matthew Fitzgerald and Samurai McCullen added 2 runs to the score. Looking to the third inning, freshman Ryan Cardone added on some more runs, making the score a whopping 10-0 lead. Amidst the fifth inning, UC added another run to the leaderboard, providing relief for pitcher Brian Dinnan. Altogether, the score resulted in a tremendous win for UC, 11-3.
In the second game, Cardone made a great showing for the Pioneers, but pitcher for Keuka, Brady Booher, secured a lead for the Wolves, their first lead of the 2 games. To bring UC back, Daniel Parslow tied the score at 2-2 in the fourth inning. Senior Brendan Sarnowski made his appearance by letting Keuka gain 2 bases, but not 2 runs. Unfortunately, Keuka got the 2 runs eventually, leading to doubling the margins to 8-4. During the ninth inning, both teams started scoring again to take the score up to the final, being 10-5.
The Utica College women's soccer team fell 2-1 to Sage at Saturday's Empire 8 Conference Championship game. Kelly Moshak made the first and only goal for the Pioneers, even though Sage outshot the Pioneers 12-3 in the first half alone. The score remained the same until Sage scored at the 64th minute and 13 seconds and made one more goal in overtime on a penalty kick. Utica was outshot 22-11, while Sage also held the advantage in shots on goal 11-4.
Yesterday, the men's tennis team faced the Alfred Saxons in an attempt to take their first win of the season. The Pioneers resulted in a loss, but definitely didn't go down without a fight. At the singles match, junior LJ Nuzzo played Saxon's Ryan Brown in a thrilling 3-set match. The first set went to Nuzzo, winning in the tiebreak 7-5. But Brown came back, winning the second and third sets by a score of 3-6 and 2-6. Senior Makai Medici faced Alfred's Sam Cohen, defeating Alfred in the second match, but surrendered the victory for third singles. Junior Austin McGrain rose out on top for the singles match against Isaac Little, another thrilling 3-set match. But in the third set, tiebreaker, McGrain lost to Little 6-2. In the doubles, the closest match was at second doubles, with senior Makai Medici and junior Ethan Tremblay, but they still fell short, losing the Pro 8 match 5-8. The final score for Sunday's matches was 9 for Alfred and Pioneer 0.
On Tuesday, the men's baseball team will be traveling to Keuka College to play a doubleheader against the Wolves. Game times are scheduled for 1 and 3 p.m. The women's volleyball team will be traveling to Rochester to take on the Nazareth Golden Flyers at 7 p.m. in the first round of the Empire 8 tournament.
On Wednesday, baseball will be traveling to St. John Fisher College to take on the Cardinals at 4 p.m. Field hockey will be playing at Nazareth in the Empire 8 Conference Tournament, also at 4 p.m. The softball team will be playing a doubleheader against the Elmira Soaring Eagles in Elmira at 3:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m.
Women's lacrosse will be playing at Keuka College to take on the Wolves at 7 p.m. Thursday and Friday are light days as there is only one match occurring on each day. On Thursday, the men's tennis team is home taking on SUNY Delhi at 3:30 p.m.
On Friday, the men's tennis team will be at home again, but this time against Houghton College at 4 p.m. After a quiet week, the weekend will be jam-packed with games. On Saturday, the men's golf team will be playing at Timberbanks Country Club in the first round of the Empire 8 Championship. The time for this match is yet to be determined.
The men's tennis team will be on the road taking on the Nazareth Golden Flyers at 1 p.m. Women's track will be competing at the Red Dragon Open in SUNY Cortland at 12 p.m. Softball will have a doubleheader on the road against Keokuk College. Games will be 1 and 3 p.m.
Women's lacrosse will also be on the road taking on the Soaring Eagles of Elmira College at 1 p.m. To wrap up Saturday's action, the men's lacrosse team will be home against Alfred University at 1 p.m. On Sunday, the men's golf team will continue to compete in the Empire 8 Championship at Timber Banks Country Club at a time yet to be determined.
Women's golf will be traveling to the Colony Golf Club to compete in the first round of the Northeast Women's Golf Conference Championship, and their time is not yet determined. Men's track will be competing in SUNY Cortland as part of the Red Dragon Open on 12 p.m. And finally, to wrap up the week, softball team will be playing another doubleheader on the road, this time against Elmira College. Game times are at 1 and 3 p.m.
And that is going to wrap up today's showing of UCTV Overtime. Good luck to all of those who have games scheduled for this week.
And be sure to watch our live streams on ucpioneers.com.
I know I'll be watching.
Thank you all for tuning in, and always remember to
Fear the Moose.